Every human on Earth cries, rich or poor, ancient or modern. We cry when we're born, when we lose someone we love, when we're overwhelmed with joy, even when we laugh too hard. But here's the strange part. Thousands of animal species feel pain. They feel fear. They lose their children. Yet as far as science knows, only one species sheds emotional tears: us. So why would evolution create something so vulnerable? Think about it. The happiest moment of someone's life can end in tears. The worst moment can too. Weddings, funerals, reunions, victories, heartbreak. Somehow one tiny drop of water can express emotions that words often fail to describe. Crying isn't just sadness, it's something much deeper. Dogs whimper, wolves howl, elephants trumpet, chimpanzees scream. Many animals express emotion. But emotional tears? They don't. Their eyes produce tears only to protect the surface of the eye, not because they're grieving or overwhelmed. That makes human crying one of evolution's biggest mysteries. And that's exactly what makes it so confusing. Evolution usually removes weaknesses. Crying blurs your vision. It drains your energy. It announces your location. In the wild, that sounds like the last thing you'd want, so why didn't natural selection erase it millions of years ago? Imagine sitting around a campfire 100,000 years ago. Darkness stretches for miles. Predators wait just beyond the light. Every sound matters. Every movement matters. If someone begins crying, it isn't just emotion anymore. It's information. 2 minutes to 2 minutes 22 seconds. Alone, tears are dangerous. They make you slower. Your vision becomes blurry. You can't hunt as well. You can't defend yourself as effectively. A solitary human who cried constantly would probably survive less often. Which raises an obvious question. Why are we still doing it? Because humans almost never survived alone. We survived together. Researchers believe tears evolved less as a sign of weakness, and more as one of the most powerful social signals ever created. A silent message that says, "I need help." And it works. The moment we see someone cry, something changes inside us. Our attention shifts, our empathy increases. We comfort them almost automatically. Few behaviors trigger compassion as consistently as tears. Evolution didn't reward the strongest individual, it rewarded the strongest tribe. This begins on the very first day of life. A newborn cannot run, hunt, or defend itself. Its only survival tool is communication. Every cry instantly pulls adults closer. Without that response, human babies, among the most helpless creatures ever born, simply wouldn't survive. But tears don't begin in the eyes. They begin deep inside your brain. Powerful emotional centers communicate with the tear glands through an intricate network of nerves. When emotions become too intense, your brain literally transforms invisible feelings into something the outside world can finally see. Interestingly, we don't cry because of one specific emotion. We cry when almost any emotion becomes too large to contain. Love, fear, relief, gratitude, loss, joy. The trigger isn't whether the feeling is positive or negative, it's whether it's simply too much for the brain to hold. That's why grief feels different after tears. Studies suggest emotional crying activates calming systems inside the body. Heart rate gradually slows. Stress begins to decrease. Crying may not erase pain, but it often changes how pain feels. But then something even stranger happens. We also cry when we're unbelievably happy. Holding your newborn child, winning an Olympic medal, seeing someone you thought you'd never meet again. Scientists think joyful tears may help regulate emotional extremes, bringing overwhelming happiness back into balance. Notice what happens during emotional reunions. People rarely speak first. They hug. They cry. Somehow tears communicate feelings faster than language ever could. Long before humans invented words, tears may have been one of our oldest emotional languages. At funerals, tears do something else. They don't just express loss, they invite connection. When one person cries, others often begin crying too. Emotion spreads through groups almost like a chain reaction, strengthening the bonds that help communities survive tragedy together. Scientists are still debating exactly why this feels so relieving. Emotional tears contain different biological compounds than ordinary reflex tears. Whether they're removing stress chemicals or simply activating calming brain circuits, one thing is clear: people often feel different after they've cried. Maybe that's the real purpose. Scientists are still debating exactly why this feels so relieving. Emotional tears contain different biological compounds than ordinary reflex tears. Whether they're removing stress chemicals or simply activating calming brain circuits, one thing is clear. People often feel different after they've cried. Maybe that's the real purpose, not to solve our problem, but to reset the mind just enough that we can face them again. Crying doesn't change reality, it changes the person experiencing it. In a strange way, tears may be one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. They're impossible to fake perfectly, difficult to ignore, and almost universally understood across cultures. A single tear can trigger cooperation faster than thousands of words ever could. And that's what makes humans extraordinary. We aren't the strongest species, we aren't the fastest. We survived because we became experts at understanding each other. Tears aren't proof that humans are fragile. They're proof that we evolved to depend on one another. So maybe the real question isn't why humans cry. Maybe it's why only humans evolved a signal so honest that it cannot be hidden. A language spoken without words, understood by every culture, and recognized across thousands of years. Perhaps tears were never a flaw in our design. Perhaps they're the reason our species learned something no other animal ever truly mastered: how to carry another person's pain as if it were our own.